Hi, I'm Bill from CJ Pony Parts. We've shown you several different ways to customize your existing lighting or add custom lighting to your S550 Mustang. If you're really looking to make a statement though, check out these custom LED grills which will fit your V6, GT, or EcoBoost. They're available in your choice of a green LED, white LED, or red LED, and it'll be a direct replacement for your factory grill. Today we're going to show you how to install this grill using our 2015 Mustang GT. This grill is going to mimic the original 3-section grill, but obviously you have a lot more going on. The center section keeps the honeycomb design, but it's going to be wide open, provide a lot of air inlet to your radiator and your air intake. The sides, though, is where it really gets interesting with these bright LEDs. They're available again in your choice of green, white, or red. Can be tied into your parking lights, fog lights, or hooked up to a switch. For this installation, let a lift or a jack and jack stands, 1/4-inch ratchet, 5.5mm socket, 7mm socket, 8mm socket, 10mm socket, short extension, 7mm wrench, and a small flathead screwdriver. To install the grill is going to require us to remove our front bumper to get access to the back of it. So to start off, we're going to remove this radiator panel first, then move underneath. To remove the cover, we've got to remove these 8 clips. Simply get underneath there, just push up on them to remove them. All it clips out now, just pop this right off. Once the cover's out of the way, remove these 6 bolts across the front of the bumper. Once you get all the main bolts off, there are 2 little small hidden ones you have to remove as well. Basically pull back on the weather stripping. There's 2 tiny little 5.5mm ones you got to remove as well. Now that we're underneath, we're going to separate the splash shield from the splitter by removing all the bolts underneath. There's 2 more screws back here, then everything else is held on by push pins. We're going to remove the push pins. The hardware out of the way now, we can remove the lower splash shield. Now we're going to move into the wheel wells and remove the splash shields. The clip here, then one higher up. The last thing to remove in the fender well area is a small little screw located right on top here. A lot of people miss this and it's an easy way to damage your bumper. Make sure to remove both of these, one on each side, or you try to take the bumper off. Before you try to remove the cover, you want to disconnect the lighting on both sides for the fog lights and the marker lights. Now we can actually remove the cover. You want to start by pulling on the ends here. Do the same thing on the other side. You just want to lift it up in the center here. And pull it off. Like a lot of the other parts like the rear valance, the grill is held on by these little clips. They all have to be removed to get the grill off the car. A couple different ways to do this. There's no real easy way to do it. I use a small knife and a screwdriver is usually the easiest way. Gonna start by removing this piece first, as it actually lays on top of the grill. Before you get started though, I should mention, make sure you put like a soft blanket or something down underneath the bumper, because it is gonna move around as you're doing this. If you do it on the ground, you're gonna scratch it. These you can just push with your thumb. These aren't too bad. Now you can see all the clips hold the grill in. Just got to start removing them. Wish I could tell you there's a trick to make this easy, but there really isn't. Once you get a couple of them going though, the rest will come off a little bit easier. Now we're going to take our new LED grill and install it basically the same as the other one came off. You're going to line up all the tabs. Basically get it seated into place, make sure everything is lined up. Also make sure the wiring is behind it, doesn't get pinched. You'll press it down, lock it into place. Here we flipped it around quick so you get an idea what it's going to look like. It definitely gives the car a cool custom look. Now we're going to reinstall the other support. We can reinstall the bumper. Let's reinstall this. Again, this goes right on the factory clips, right where it came from. Make sure everything clicks into place and it's tight. Now we're going to reinstall the bumper on the car. Before you put the bumper into place, you want to install the wiring harness, but you also want to figure out where it's going to go. It's going to run in series to the two lights, so it's going to connect like this between the two lights. This harness has to go to wherever you're going to connect it. Keep in mind, these lights are for show use. You don't want to drive with them on, so while you could hook them up to the parking lights or the fog lights, I suggest running this to a switch connected to your battery. Now, being cautious of the wiring, you can reverse the steps, put the bumper cover back on. Now we're going to reinstall the bumper basically the same way we took it off, just the opposite order. We'll start by putting the small little screws and all the top screws in. Since we're here, we'll just throw this cover right back on, then move down to the fender wells. Forget to reinstall this tiny little screw up here. Last step is to install the lower belly pan or splash shield. Before you do so, make sure you don't forget to plug the lights back in. And your installation is finished. If you're looking to get noticed at your local car show or cruising, especially at night, this is definitely the way to do it. You can't miss this thing. It's definitely a really unique look on the front of our 2015 Mustang. I want to remind you again that you don't want to drive with these lights on. Make sure you put a switch somewhere so you can shut them off. Keep them for off-road use and for show use only. The installation is pretty straightforward. Take you about 2 to 3 hours probably. Be back on the road in no time.